You're listening to BleedTV, the only podcast for today's best shows and movies. I'm Zach.
I'm Jake.
And tonight we got Walking Dead. This is episode 8, the mid-season finale that everyone will be talking about.
As the commercial says.
As the commercial tells me it was supposed to do. Bro, I got to be honest, man. My feelings are circling the drain is the way I feel like, man.
Okay, so the most of the vitriol that I've seen about this episode has come from the comic book fan.
Yes.
The TV show fan, I think, had a lot to talk about on this, but I think the comic book fans, a lot are checking out, I would think.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the bottom line here is that, is what they did in this episode has completely torpedoed so many good future story arcs that are happening in the comic that it is so tough to even evaluate the episode knowing what the conclusion of the episode has done to the series, is how I would say that. And I put that out on social media, and I've got a lot of folks responding, something about, that, don't get me wrong. I mean, as soon as I watched the episode, I was a little frustrated, and I was like, F Gimple, and, damn you, Gimple, for derailing this show, and da-da-da-da-da, and of course, there was a few trolls out there who didn't like it, and blah, 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 but, it's just normal. But the bottom line is that the consensus of people that listen to us, or we talk back and forth with, or a lot of the groups I'm with, there is a large proportion of people saying it's jumped the shark, it's the nail in the coffin, I'm only watching it because I'm invested. I'm not getting the vast majority going, God, it was so good. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of people who are diehard fans that think the show, no matter what it does, is great. It doesn't matter if, they all started sailing on dolphins and we're doing a fishing show with Bill Dance. Because it's Walking Dead, they'd probably enjoy it. But the fact of the matter is that, that's what it comes down to, I don't know.
I think the show is, this season in particular, has become so polarizing to what you're saying, where there's the diehard fan that is willing to just hold on to the show, like you're saying, no matter what they try to do. Because we have an attachment to some of the characters.
Right.
Like, all right, for instance, for me, like, I'm a super, fake word, completionist. To where if I start a show, I struggle to turn it off in the middle of it,
right? And
be like, well, it's really not hitting me. If I get 7 or 8 episodes into something, it's like, well, I might as well finish the 3 to 5 extra episodes. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Just see where this goes. I feel like this season, if this wasn't a show that we were potting on, that this is one of those shows where I would have gotten to this point, but I'll be struggling to catch back up next year.
Well, the biggest thing I heard, and this was from a couple of our fans, and I can't remember their name off the head, is that they no longer prioritize Sunday nights anymore like they used to. Like, they'll still watch the show, but watching it the night of is not a big deal anymore because they've realized that it's come to this point where you just don't enjoy the story or the arc they're giving you, or you don't care for somehow the writing, or like I said, or it's just blatantly dumbfounding some of the decisions that are made, and you're just wondering. I mean, there's just 100 different reasons, but a lot of people are giving up the priority of life for something. The bottom line is that if you're a Game of Thrones fans, Sunday night, you might as well close the door, turn your phone off. You're not going to effing bother me. Yeah. And we used to be that way for Walking Dead. Like, oh my God, da 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 da. Don't get me wrong. I don't miss on Sunday night. I mean, I just don't because I'm a huge comic book fan, and I'm still a huge TV show person. I just hate the direction they've gone, and of course that's my opinion alone.
But no, it's not your opinion alone because there's just been too many grumblings this season. I'm not talking about just this episode. This season, how many episodes is it? 8 episodes a season, right?
Correct.
We got 2 good episodes.
2, maybe 3. That
I'll give it 2.5, maybe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm talking about a memorable, decent episode that we got. I thought episode 2 was good.
I thought the first one and the second one were good. I think it came out the gates pretty good.
Yeah, see, that's the thing is I think 1 and 2 pretty damn good. And then I struggle to remember number 3.
Yeah. I'll tell you what happens when Rodriguez. When after her episode, it's just like,
That was episode 2.
yeah, I think it just died after that.
Yeah, see, I don't know, man. This is how I prioritize a show. I don't watch network television. This is a conversation we've all had
Correct.
a lot of times. Okay. Walking Dead, like you say, a lot of times it was priority for Sunday. You prioritize it. It's like Sunday. I'm sitting down, I'm watching it, and I want to watch it when it starts because I don't want to be behind everybody else reacting to it on Twitter and stuff like that. There is no possible way I could watch this show right now with commercials. There's no way.
Yeah.
It's not good enough for me to wait through the 15 to 18 minutes of commercials they're going to give me.
Yep.
Okay? When you're an HBO quality show, a Westworld, a Game of Thrones, a Wire, you know what I mean? Like, even going back that far, a Deadwood type of show, you know you're going to get that solid hour of entertainment. It just is so far superior to what we're getting right now. For instance, another AMC show, Breaking Bad, I sit through every commercial, no problem.
Yeah, because you're salivating for what comes on the screen next.
Yeah.
But see, here's the deal. All right, if you want to compare apples to apples, AMC show. Breaking Bad it didn't have a source material to start with. It was an original series, everything. There were no expectations going into an episode of what you were going to see. You might have had a vague idea based on if you had read the source material or different things like that or so on, like with Walking Dead. But the difference is that Breaking Bad, can you name a single episode you're like, oh my God, that's terrible coincidental. Really? That is the most unrealistic decision, da-da-da. You didn't have those issues. It seemed like everything was 100% plausible. Don't get me wrong. Now, some of his little science experiments, blowing up a building, doing this, that, or so on, Mythbusters debunked all that, but you didn't care. It sounded good. It was delivered well. The whole 9 yards. When you get to The Walking Dead, it seems like for the last few seasons, especially, we're constantly questioning, really? Or did that just really happen? This is the decision you come out of this? This is what you decide to do now? When you're coming up with those things, and that's what the chatter's about on social media, not about how amazing and dumbfounded you were and this, that, or so on, that's the sign of writing. That's the sign of the direction. That's the sign of the showrunner, and what's changed. You know what I mean? I can go back to season 1 of Walking Dead, and there's not a single episode in season 1 that I question anything.
Oh, no. This season makes me long for season 2 of Walking Dead.
Yeah.
The slow farm episodes. Yeah, we haven't even gotten into the episode yet, which we'll go through so fast it's going to be hurtful.
Yeah.
But I think this is mainly about our feelings about the show, not about this episode, because let's be honest, not a lot happens in this episode.
No, it's kind of like a conclusion of events, just set up the next half season. It's really not,
This was more chess pieces moving than it was
very rapid.
This storyline ending or this storyline ending or whatever the case may be. This was, extremely just chess pieces being moved around the board. So anyway, I don't. We always talk about the characters that we give a shit about and how we need to trim fat. And, we obviously, if you've listened to the show, you know which ones we'd love them to trim off.
Yes.
In a heartbeat. But instead, we lose one that we actually give a shit about. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, what they hung their hat on that everybody's going to be talking about, I feel like it's coming out negative.
It is. One of my posts I put out there, I said, this is supposed to be a very memorable episode due to something you'll be talking about for a long period of time. Memorable, yes, but for a good reason and productivity to the future, no.
No, there's no way.
Right.
I like when a heavy duty character goes out, surprisingly or whatever the case may be. But my thing is, you could have gotten lasting impact, a good rise out of the crowd and had positive feelings going into the next season versus what we just did, which is where you just totally shit on the comic book readers and then the show watching fans who have like watched Chandler Riggs like grow into a character they can actually stand to see on the screen, to now take him away. It's like,
yeah, you're just tearing their heartstrings out.
You're leaving the Rositas and the Taras and even the Daryls at this point. You know what I mean, on the screen. They're awful. They've twisted Morgan all up again.
Yes.
We got Gabriel dying for a random ass reason.
Do we?
Eugene, we have no idea what Eugene is anymore. So I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. We're gonna, when we get into the episode, you're gonna the guy sitting behind Maggie.
Yeah, let's just dive into this.
Let's dive into it because this is bullshit, man.
Yeah, let's just dive into it. The bottom line is, in the beginning, you get a little bit of Rick finishing up where he's like, "Hey, north, south, west, where are you guys?" And basically, it's just the same thing, concluding that everybody's gone. Whatever happened. But then we get into this. You can definitely tell it's a backflash. This is the Rick and Carl in, and this is
right after Sadiq, or what's his name again? I'm sorry,
Sadiq.
It's Sadiq, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Right after he shoots over his head and runs him.
Right, because he's talking to him, and he's just basically the whole mantra is that, you don't have to kill everybody, Dad. There has to be a future after this, and
not even Negan.
Yeah, that life is still going to move on. Da 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 da. And as soon as they showed this, the crosshairs immediately went to Carl for me. I don't know why, and then I kept second guessing myself, like, no way they killed the main character, no way, da 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 da. But then. We've already been down this road, so what was the necessity of bringing this in unless there was a reason? So that was immediately going into my mind. But I kept telling myself, no fucking way. Carl's the future of the show, and Carl's the future of the comic, and blah, blah, blah.
My problem with this was just the knowledge that you have dropped on me in the past. If you're a comic book reader, this feels so hammy and just like hitting you over the head.
Right.
That you're like, oh, well, I mean, it's good. I'm glad to know we're going to go this direction in the future or whatever like that. But it's like, I already know what to expect now.
It's like putting a teleprompter up and saying, read this as the plot line.
Yeah, so it's like, if I was a comic book reader on this and I knew more about this show, that would have led me right down to the point where, oh, okay, well, I know where this is going.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I won't share that right now because I don't want anybody that doesn't read the comic to know that. But I'm just saying, man, they just once again they just beat you right over the head with this.
It's just a classic Walking Dead, man. I mean, it's just one of those things. Is that I guess if you're just, I don't think they think your viewer's dumb, but they want to make sure that it's in there and people see it, understand it, and roll with it. I guess I don't know, but what do you think about what followed this? This is where they did this whole solemn music and you got facial montage because they did it twice in the episode, in the early and then late. What do you think they were trying to say here?
I don't know. I feel like this is where they were trying to get a little artsy with the episode, kind of. A little cinematography for this deal or whatever. But it didn't do anything for me necessarily. Not something I just had to have.
Yeah. Well, I'm guessing this is supposed to show their emotional state at the time. Maybe I don't know.
But yeah, but look at when they slow-mo Carol.
Yeah, it's emotionless.
It's Carol face. Yeah. I mean, it's like
it's not resting bitch face. It's just resting Carol face.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I didn't get anything out of it necessarily. No. Whatever. If that's the director's choice, fine. But I'm just, it wasn't for me.
Yeah. All right. Let's do Eden and Aaron. They have a small little segment here. First, we're in the car, which this is an odd pairing. And they evidently have made the decision that they're going to go to Oceanside to convince them to help with this.
Yeah, Aaron says before they leave, I'm going to go do something to make sure we win.
Correct. That's the mission.
So I was like, well, hopefully he's going to get the grenade launcher he has hidden
he's
somewhere.
Going to find the nuclear weapon.
Yeah, something.
Yeah, I wasn't real sure, but that ends up becoming the conclusion. I'm not really sure how that becomes a guarantee of victory, recruiting Oceanside people.
I'm not either, and this is not necessarily a bunch of people I want to give guns to either.
Considering, I mean...
You're going to give them their guns back?
Yeah, I mean, really. By the way, here, we borrowed these. Yeah, I don't understand this part. I don't. And then the whole... Hey, let's let Enid drive a little bit, which I actually appreciated this, just kind of, hey, you know what? You have to realize she still is a teenager. She still is somebody. This is a necessity. So it really didn't bother me. Kind of show a little bit of kinship there. But the whole, I want to check this out and go over to the distillery. What do you think about this?
I mean, the whole, I totally understand Aaron's sadness and stuff like that, but I just thought it was so cheeseball where he's like, me and Eric used to make trips like this. So like this was a trip down to to Napa, for some wine tasting and stuff. I mean, I just
need some cheese with that wine.
Yeah, I just thought this was really cheeseball how they worked it out, and but then to switch it to Enid driving made more sense to me because it was like, okay, well let's get that out of your head,
right,
and do this.
I think the biggest thing was it was just the way I think, and nothing against the actor for Aaron like that. I just thought it was the way he delivered it a little bit, like you were talking about. It was kind of cheese.
That's what it felt like. It just felt cheesy.
Yeah, I just felt like. Maybe if it was delivered a little bit differently, I maybe wouldn't have felt that way. I know exactly what you mean. But so we're going to this distillery, right? And all of a sudden, they just come out over the truck. One's driving the truck, one's driving the car. And this place is good as any. I guess that's where they're going to sleep and so on. Okay?
I guess this is really close to Oceanside?
I guess so. Because, the whole group got there basically on foot. And Nana is evidently the leader on this. Okay, so just so we have this visual here, Eric hears something and then sees a shadowy figure from the truck, okay, going the opposite way around the truck. Okay, so he gets out with his AK-47. Enid gets out with her gun. All right, and so they decide to separate to go,
flank
whoever this individual is. And of course, we leave Aaron behind, and the camera follows Enid. And all of a sudden, yeah, really, Bubba School sound effects happen.
Yeah,
and Aaron's on the ground with a shadowy figure over, and Enid takes her cap gun because when it shoots, it looks like the cap gun, and greases this person. And it comes to find out it's Grandma, old Nana.
Yeah,
it just drops her like a bad transmission right there beside Aaron. To me, I didn't have I guess my problem is that how does this elderly woman get the drop on Aaron, physically able to knock him completely off his feet where he's disarmed, to where he is helpless with her with a spear over him to stab him? That scenario right there, I just want you to put that in perspective. It just doesn't quite, add 1 + 1 = 2 on this situation.
No, this is horse crap.
And so when Enid comes around, okay, I understand that, okay, we take no quarter, because even Aaron and Enid said, well, Tara was the only first one they ever let live that came through there. We have to convince them. We have to try. We have to say, okay, all right.
Well, not to mention, we're not sure this is an Oceanside person.
Correct.
I think Enid came around just like,
guns a-blazing.
Whoever this is getting it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So we grease Nana. She drops. Wow, what an exit of a character. The leader of Oceanside doesn't even get a 10 seconds on the screen without a hole through her.
Did she even get a word?
No. It was just, she fell, they rolled her body over.
Grandma!
And it's over.
Ew.
Okay, so then the other two people come up. There's a lot of them. The other two girls come up, and they have what looks like fishhook spears.
Yeah, this is like some Pirates of the Caribbean business right here.
Right, and I was like, okay, so none of them have a single gun left. They left them completely defenseless with no firearms.
Yeah. These are all makeshift spears.
Exactly. And I was just like, wow. And so I'm sitting there thinking, I was like, so about convincing them to join you when you just greased the leader.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Enid, this is one of the best parts, I think, was Enid's face after this happens.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You realize the world of shit you're in.
She's like, we just came out here to talk to, and now this. Once again, they left out like this small little thing that would have helped this not seem coincidental, with the fact of where are they parking and why are they parking here, or whatever the case may be. You just feel like, how did Oceanside know they were over here, or whatever the case may be? You know what I'm saying? Like, was there a patrol? Are there scouts out keeping an eye out whether or not you're close by? I don't know. Whatever. I always feel like there's this little explanation missing.
Well, there's always that little sprinkle of detail that makes things more plausible.
Absolutely. It doesn't take much.
It doesn't.
Show them park within view of Oceanside.
Or as a park, you see somebody in the trees looking at you with a set of binoculars.
A first-person view
right.
of somebody peering around the tree. They've done it a bazillion times.
Oh, yeah. You remember when we met the Garbage Pail Kids the first time? The boat and everything? A set of boots comes down and walks away.
Nothing to it.
Ding! You've been on site. Somebody's seen you. And it's 3 seconds of film.
Anyway, the end.
The end on those jokers. And so who knows what's going to happen with them, which I don't have no fear. Because the reality of it is if they take no quarter or anything like that, both of those should be hanging with their entrails hanging out from a tree.
And the thing of it is, too, if they kill Enid now, say Enid dies, now you're missing out on a big thing with her finding out about Carl.
Correct.
She even drops a Carl line in this road trip.
Mm-hmm.
What was she talking about? Something. Oh, you're much better driver than Carl.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they tend to get into accidents when they're together.
A little prone.
But so I have very little fear for Enid's life now. More fear for Aaron than I do Enid. Because I feel like that has to at some point come together now.
Right. One little part in the beginning we didn't talk about is that Rick and Jadis, like that, they run up on there to look at the building closer to kind of get a visual, and then they get shot upon. Mm-hmm. And Rick has to do, the John Claude Van Damme roll over there to the behind the concrete pillar. And believe it or not, I was really impressed. I did like all the bullet effects hitting the ground and hitting the concrete and everything else. I mean, like, it looked the part. You know what I mean? Because more bullets hit the ground around Rick than the entire firefight in some of the other episodes. Okay, so I give you that. And then to see the Garbage Pail people just throwing the deuces.
And running.
Because he's over there, he's throwing orders around like, do this, flank that. They're like, F you. It's like watching the tail of a whitetail leave you,
And that older man that's one of her, like, right-hand man or whatever like that, just with a light jog on the way out.
Yeah,
I'm like, they'd all be greased in the back right now.
Yeah.
So
Rick's like, dang. So he's pinned down. He's sitting there, and it happens. And I almost spit up my Cheerios and everything else. Guess who just happens to roll up in a nice silver Tahoe?
Nice Yukon or Tahoe, it says.
Out of effing nowhere, her and Jerry just roll up.
Yeah.
Like, get in, hop in, and roll out.
And still, once again, this thing would be Swiss cheese.
Jerry would be bleeding from 27 orifices of his body.
He'd be
he was on
a fountain of blood right now.
Yes. He would be spitting, guts everywhere. I mean, don't get me wrong, there was a few broken pieces of glass and stuff. Evidently not in the glass where he was. But I was just like,
Jerry would look like Tupac at this point. A big fat Tupac.
It would be like Bonnie and Clyde in this car, and Rick would hop in to look at their corpses. Like the amount of bullets that were hitting him on the ground. That's what I'm talking about. Like, the first scene is so cool.
Machine gun fire is coming down on this thing.
Right. It's hitting all around Rick where he can't even stand up.
How hard would it have been to just make it one of the cars with the panels on the side?
Right. And so for them two to roll up on an SUV and to walk and just roll out unscathed,
windshield's not blown out.
That's the thing. And then, of course, the timing. Rick literally just rolled into this thing like John Claude Van Damme, and Jadis and them just ran away. And within 3 seconds, Carol rides up. I mean, the timing.
Yeah. No, of course.
It's like watching a garbage truck hit a speaker truck. I mean...
Oh, no. There is no
comparison. There's
no matching that one.
That's what I'm getting at, man. I'm just like, whoa. So, yeah, Rick gets them, they get out of there, and they're like, we got to get back, all right?
Who do you want to go to next, though? Because, I mean, it's like,
we
could knock out Eugene real fast.
Yeah, we could. All right, so...
Eugene has a moment of conscience.
Well, he sits there, and I was laughing my ass off. He's doing shots of wine. Shots.
I'm going to say this is brandy. At least that would make more sense.
The color of it.
Well, Brandy's pretty dark.
Yeah. I'm going to say it was wine.
I know, but
Anyway, he's doing shots of wine, which was kind of funny.
to try to help him sleep.
Right. So he's sitting there, and you're seeing his face cringe, and this is a person fighting his own conscience, is basically what I'm getting.
Fighting his own survival instinct, his own evolution.
Correct. You're just a man conflicted.
Yeah.
And that's
Although this is weird face he's making.
Yes, dude. It's almost as bad as Aaron's cry face. If you remember the Aaron cry face, it's rough.
When you're struggling with something mentally, do you physically shake at a vibration level and sweat to death?
I mean, like, if I had, like, lost somebody and I was struggling with grief, maybe, but no, the face, like, he's wearing his emotion when you're alone in a bed. I don't know. It didn't bother me because it's Eugene. Now, if this was another character who didn't, speak robotic and, possibly on the spectrum or so on, has, social cues or different ways of going about things, and that's just his personality, it didn't bother me. Now, if this is Rosita all of a sudden just rolling over and going, I'd be like, bullshit.
I mean, you think of the compilation of Rick emotions that we've seen before, you know what I mean? Where he's just stoic.
Yeah.
Can't even think straight. He's sweating so bad. His eyes are burning probably. When
crying and rolling
when
around
Lori's
the
dead. I'm just like horrific Rickery screams. And
Rickery screams.
It's
patting that, please.
It's just... to Eugene. Eugene, I think you're right, is probably one of the only characters I think this is okay to do.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't bother me. To me, like, he can't verbally express a man conflicted without, so the facial expression is the best you're going to get. And it works.
So, anyway, what he's conflicted on is whether or not to help Gabriel and the doctor.
Yeah, is he a good guy or a bad guy?
So he puts a headlamp on, and I'm like, okay, what's he doing with the headlamp? Is he going to go find another RC plane? Is he looking at more coffins? Okay, the power is out at the sanctuary, apparently.
Correct.
So, anyway, he goes to the doctor's office with a spray bottle, a fan spray bottle.
I know it, man.
I thought he had, like, ammonia smelling salted the doctor. No, he had sprayed him in his face.
Yeah.
And then he goes over and sprays Gabriel.
Yeah. What the F, man?
Gabriel is, the sicker he gets, the more awake he is.
Yeah, like he's actually improved based on his condition that's supposed to be worsening.
He looks worse, but he's more cognizant.
Yeah. He's not so laid up anymore.
And, he looks almost terrified that Eugene's talking to him. So Eugene decides that he's going to put one of the guards out with explosive diarrhea.
That guy's be painting.
Or he might be crapping his khakis if he's not
catastrophic crapping of the khakis.
Yeah.
Yes. I put it in my notes. I was dying laughing.
To basically let these guys get out one of the gates. But he is not going to leave. No. Because he's playing both sides once again. He's got 1 foot in the Rick party and 1 foot in the Negan party.
Part of me is like he wants to save everyone's life. He's not really trying to be a bad guy to anybody. You know what I mean? Like, example, he didn't kill the guard. He just made his life miserable at the toilet. Like, he's just not a killer.
Oh, yeah, and I like the fact that even Gabriel said, you killed a guard? Because that would seem so out of character.
Yes, very out of character. But
then, of course, no. I fucked with his chili or whatever.
Right. So, I mean, that right there tells you that, maybe he really is honing in on the role of, I'm just saving people, and I appreciate being valued for it. I'm getting that from Negan. I'm going to do it for you guys, getting you out here because it's going to help save Maggie and the baby and all this, that good stuff. So, Eugene, like I said, Eugene last episode didn't bother me. Eugene this episode didn't bother me. I totally get it. Sometimes his dialogue is a little much. He didn't used to be like so over the top with his mannerisms and his rhyming and some of the stuff that he says.
I don't know. I feel like he stayed pretty consistent with that type of stuff to me, or at least to the point where it's not bothering me.
Right.
Matter of fact, he's one of the characters I actually enjoy hearing for. So that doesn't really bother me too much. But there you go. That's Eugene's story.
Yeah, I mean, there ain't much else to Eugene on this one. Now, we do have a whole deal of Michonne and Tara and Rosita and Daryl, and we get this whole little deal of, hey, I'm sorry, don't worry about it, it worked, back and forth. Like Tara and Rosita have the little conversation when they put all these, she grabs a box and puts 27 more on there.
Yeah, how about this little comic relief they pull with Rosita and Tara?
Like, hey, you were wrong for doing it, but I'm still going to play jokes with you since it worked according to what you're saying,
Yeah, y'all are saying it worked, so no harm done,
right.
Basically.
Yeah.
If anything, it only helped our
correct
problem.
Right. And so, and then, you get a much different version when you get Michonne and Daryl, it's okay, don't worry about it, no sorry, no sorry.
It worked. It worked.
It just kept saying it worked,
So you knew this, we already knew, of course, but it's like instant karma, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. Then all of a sudden, we're packing things up, we're getting stuff going, and out of nowhere, we get little Carl.
We get Carl writing a
letter.
Yeah.
A letter, a note, and putting it in a book, and it's not real clear what he's writing about, but you can tell by the solemnness of it, this, that, or so on. It's a little bit of a sprinkle of, to me, when I was first watching this, after I was denying myself that he was a target, to me, it made it sound like that Carl was leaving.
That's what I thought. Carl was leaving.
I thought that him and Sadiq were going to go somewhere else and try to do something different, because even in the comic book, Carl separates from his dad and goes to a different group, like Hilltop or Kingdom, like that, and so on. And like a lot of characters, sometimes they flip flop, go different places. So I was like, okay, so maybe they're just kind of remixing this and making this a little early, where he goes and be part of another group. The classic Walking Dead setup of splitting characters.
Yeah, the only weird thing would have been the timing, because he's well aware they're in the middle of hopefully finishing a war.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So that would have been weird. But when they put him by the sewer, like he's pulling the grate off and stuff like that, it makes it look like he's taken off.
Yeah.
Almost like him and Sadiq are going to go look for more people that are alone out there and bring them in. You know what I'm saying? Like almost like they're going to do the errand job now.
Correct.
And scout for people. So it's like, okay, well maybe that'll be something, I guess, but it'd be a weird timing to try to pull that shit. I realize hiding Sadiq somewhere would be one thing. I honestly thought they were going to flash from Carl upstairs of that to Sadiq in the jail cell in whatever that house is or whatever.
Right.
And that downstairs thing that had Morgan in for a while. I thought it was going to be like that. Until Rick got there, so he could like ease him into it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
That didn't end up being the case, obviously. He's writing a note to whoever, most likely Rick or Enid, and then he finds the letter from Enid, or the piece of paper that says, just survive somehow.
Right.
All right, so we all know that when you get bit, there's different lengths of time for when you change.
Correct.
But when you get bit, you do seem to turn pretty fast as far as like the way you look.
To me, within 24 hours, you're already sweating and looking pretty rough.
24 hours, my ass.
If not sooner.
You got to think, remember when they attacked the Savior compound? Those people were turning on the ground.
That's true.
Remember the Kingdom's people. Remember Ezekiel's got a pile on top of it.
Oh, that's right.
His people are turning within the hour.
Within the hour.
Okay. Now, we've seen some that didn't turn like that before. I mean, first season, what was his name? Ed, not Ed, but the guy they left by the tree.
Yeah.
He looked like shit.
Right.
But he was still talking
Ed.
to you
yeah,
for
he was
like...
still that guy, and they left him behind.
What do you think, like 8 hours it seemed like?
Every bit of it, yeah.
So it's like, there is a variable in there.
Yeah,
but
evidently, if you're an asshole, you turn quick.
Yeah, but Shane turns immediately. Yeah. I mean, there's like people that turn in an instant.
Correct.
So it's like there's no way to judge this completely. But if Carl was, I'm assuming he was bit when he saved Sadiq.
Okay, well, in The Talking Dead, this was addressed. And according to Gimple, who looked very sure of himself, with that and so on, you can clearly see he gets bit because Carl even grimaces from being bit, and so on. I didn't
never
catch
saw
that.
this. Never.
According to him, he's just surprised so many people missed it because he applauded Carl for making it look so authentic.
They should have shown a replay. It should have been shown before the episode or something.
All right. So here's the other thing to compare it to. Are we to assume Father Gabriel is bit, or are we to assume that he's just got a nasty sickness? Because they have never clarified it. So if he's bit or has got infected, he's lasting even longer than what Carl is.
No, the doctor has already inspected Gabriel, and there's no bite.
Okay.
You know what I mean? He's saying he has infections that are spreading in him. So, okay, fine. But Carl, if he was when he saved Sadiq, this was more than a day ago.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And he's made a trek back to home base with this bite.
He shows no signs of illness. He showed no signs of illness when he was talking to Negan on top of the fence.
Exactly. And then you're going to have to explain to me what happens when he falls.
So within less than an hour, I'm guessing.
And okay, let's talk about the time jump.
Oh, golly. Yeah, because it goes to dark.
It goes
real
dark
quick.
real fast.
Real fast, because then it goes to the whistling.
And the bat being banged on the gate. That's what you hear first. Okay?
Correct.
All right.
Now, there is a really quick scene of Jerry in a car, and you hear a collision and glass going everywhere, and him, and then it cuts away to commercial, and then you get to this part. But bang, bang, bang.
Right. So we're going to have to kind of talk about all this in a group here, I guess.
Correct.
So Carl, they hear the banging, they hear Negan. This is good Negan that we get.
Yes.
I like. This is the acting of Negan and stuff like that. I like when he's on the side of the gate and everything like that.
I'm gonna tell you, this entire scenario where they're at Alexandria, I really enjoyed everything on Alexandria.
Yeah, no.
This part of the episode was really, really good to me.
And I even thought Carl's plan was strong.
It was.
Where he was like, make it look like we're escaping out the back with the garbage trucks and stuff like that convoy, when really we're escaping into the sewers and we're laying off smoke bombs to make it hard to see everybody and all that stuff. Thought this was pretty strong. But the way he first explains it, it almost feels like they're running the trucks out and then they're going to set up an ambush for when they come in. And they're going to fight right there is what it felt like.
Yeah. His only comment that made me think like was, we just have to survive tonight.
Yeah.
Was like,
we can't just leave Alexandria. And he's like, yes, we can. We just have to survive the night. It's like, okay, well, then that means, I guess they are leaving Alexandria. So, this part with Negan, I really enjoyed this. When Carl goes up on the wall and tries to talk him down, I mean, it was excellent to see Negan actually kind of get taken aback.
Right.
Talking about...
you saw him stumble. You saw him think.
Is this who you wanted to be? Is this how you planned it? Is this how you want it to continue?
Yeah. Is this where you saw yourself? It's basically, look at what you've created and who you are to get here. Is this what you wanted?
Right.
And you see Jeffrey D. Morgan like shudder and think and like that, and it hit home. This was really good.
I thought this hit home, and I thought this was handled very well, and probably the best line of the entire thing is when the caravan breaks through the wall, and all of a sudden Carl's gone. He's like, "I thought we were having a moment, you little shit." You know what I mean? I thought that was excellent.
Right.
I mean, I thought that was good writing. That was well done. I was like, perfect.
Yeah.
So I was actually pumped up to see good Negan because he can wear on you.
He can.
His act, his whole spiel can wear on you over time. Like when he's messing with Eugene and he's manipulating Eugene, that kind of almost bores me a little bit.
Well, yeah, because it's so blatant.
And it's elaborate.
Yeah.
How he talks to him and stuff. But when they're doing this right here, when Negan's a little pissed off and, things are going back and forth, that's strong Negan to me. You know what I mean? So I thought that was cool.
The only thing I thought was strange was 3 minutes. Knock, knock, knock. You better open this effing door. And you better have your apologies ready. And the lamest one is going to die, along with Rick.
Yeah.
And so on. I don't see you standing there allowing somebody to get a plan, gain a defense, get prepared, or anything.
Well, it looks like the plan was they had the whole place surrounded. You know, even though Dwight had this little thin force on the backside right there.
Now, you could say that it takes them 3 minutes to decide this is what we have to do instead of just rapidly going into defense mode. Possible. You know, just look at it two different ways. You know, well, if we bust right down, people might just start shooting. We can lose people, have problems.
True.
You know, if we make it where we give them a few minutes to really consider, you know, we're surrounded you, you know, get your apologies ready.
And make them understand that an apology could save you.
Correct.
Instead of just fighting. Be sorry. We just want Rick and one other person to pay the due.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, that's cool. All right. Anyway, Carl's gone. It's been 10 seconds at least. But somehow Carl falls off the ladder or something?
Yeah, as he's going down the ladder from the side of that deal, he falls and evidently messes his leg up. And then you see later in the episode he's got a wound on his top of his leg.
Yeah, I thought it was like his hip or something.
I thought so too, because his limp was semi-lame, but yes, it was a limp. Yeah, and he's throwing this surplus of smoke bombs everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, he's throwing them he's dropping them like they're hot, and which is fine. But Negan decides to go ahead and shoot grenade guns. Okay, now here's my problem. Okay, this is when some of those explosive details don't match, make no sense.
No shit. Houses are blowing up.
All right. All right, think about this now. The very first scene where he says, shoot, you know, grenade them MFers, whatever like that. Those guys are shooting somewhere in the neighborhood of 70 degrees in the air. I mean, like, they're almost borderline straight up, you know.
Yeah. If
you're shooting this, we're talking about a good 60 to 100 yards away landing, even not farther, you know what I mean? And so on. The explosions are right behind the gate. I mean, like, literally right behind the gate. Because when you see it gone and you see the first set of explosions and it cuts to commercial, I was like, okay, not possible. Them explosions would be a lot farther away from the angles they were shooting their guns. But then, like you're going to talk about, is that the explosions were so inconsistent. One was a small fireball here. One was a car barely blew up. And another one, the entire home explodes.
Well, the thing is, these things are exploding from the middle of the inside of a house.
Correct.
I don't claim to be a grenade expert of any kind, or from a grenade launcher, but I'm assuming they detonate on impact.
Yeah, because Carl was leaning up a house on one, and he hears one go through a window, and then runs, and it explodes.
Yeah, but even other than that, how the hell did it go through the window? First off, at the angle they're shooting at, but also when one hits a roof, it would explode on the roof, right? Blow a huge hole in the roof. I give it that. But why are they like going through the roof, landing inside the house,
exploding from the middle of the house,
and blowing entire houses out? Those grenade launchers aren't that powerful.
Well, yeah, they don't penetrate like that.
But I'm just saying,
explode.
It's not going to make the whole damn house explode. I mean, it's going to be awful. It'll be a huge blowout. It'll blow a bedroom completely gone.
Exactly. But the entire house going up,
blow a house to timbers.
Of crap. Yes.
You know what I mean? And the thing was, they start firing off with the first round is 15 people seem like they're firing grenades. There ought to be 15 explosions just all over the place. What do we see?
Single shot here.
Three, maybe
4,
land.
And then it just kind of, it was off and on.
Yeah, so it was like.
We're shooting duds?
I just did the CG budget run out? Y'all couldn't just throw some fireballs up or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was just surprised. I thought it would, that should have looked like it was literally raining fire. You know what I'm saying? Like, just hell on earth in that space.
Correct. And
I don't know, man. I just thought they kind of, when the car blows up next to Carl, it looked so ridiculous.
It did. It did.
So I really just didn't know the route they were going with these explosions.
Well, here's the other thing, too, is when these explosions were happening, if we remember we talked in the preview cast, when this happens, a prominent character gets blown up.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And loses a leg. And and of course, Denise, who is still alive in the comic book at this time, helps to get this person inside to try to save them. And Carl gets blown up.
Yeah,
but he is concussed and has to go into a hospital. So that was how the comic book went about it. I thought for sure that, oh my God, are they finna blow Carl's leg off and we're gonna watch him die, from something like that? I was like, holy smacks! But then when you saw the car blow up and him get blown away, I was like, oh man, I thought he was gonna try to stand up and he couldn't, because it was that awkward pause of how long it took him to stand up.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh, they finna show his leg gone, and I was like getting ready to fist bump, and they're like, no, moving on. We just moved to the house.
the best explosion we got was the church.
Yes,
that one was pretty rad.
Yeah,
and then when he looks back at it later, and it looks like a burning cross on the top of it and stuff like that, it's like, hey, you know what? That looks pretty cool. I thought they did a good job with that. Although the church blew up like it was a damn gas tank inside there.
Like it had TNT inside of it.
Yeah, so the nitroglycerin just went up for some reason.
Right. Rosita must have left an unstable packet
there. There you go. You're right. Unstable package of dynamite. That luckily she was okay to handle and walk away.
Yeah, it made it there without sweating.
But yeah, so this whole ordeal, with the grenades not really landing where we thought they would land, the explosions kind of being goofy. Carl just has an insane amount of smoke bombs he's ripping out.
Yes,
which is cool or whatever like that. I like how they in the background you always saw people running. It would look like somebody leading families.
Yeah, I did appreciate that the camera made a point to show people. Yeah, like he's stalling. He's making a point to
absolutely
draw it out.
Absolutely, I thought that was well done. But they come in. They break down the gate.
Do you think Negan's a little too much to be just rolling in there without a gun in front? To me, it's like there could be a person standing by a house. It just drops you like a bad transmission. I mean, I'm just saying, like,
honestly, there should be.
Right. Hey,
why is
free shot on him? Take
Tobin just sitting there in the bush,
just
waiting. Like, hey, as soon as he shows himself, he's not going to be Lord Raiden again and put his bat up and stop a bullet again. You know what I'm saying?
Lord Raiden.
As soon as he shows himself to be just out in the open,
take a few shots.
Dude, what do you got to live for? Whatever, man.
Maybe
hero. If you knock the head off the snake, the rest of the people will just be like, hey, man.
F this.
We're not Negan. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But, dude, if you're Carl, I realize what he's trying to do, and they're trying to put all this onto your head, that he's trying to make it, where we all have to get along, we have to do this. That's what the future is and stuff like that. But really, Carl should just stand there in the bush, in the pile of smoke, and just wait for him to step in and just grease him.
But that, or at least have a grenade with you. I mean, if you had one or something like that, and just be like, I'm surrendering, and go to Negan, and then bang. And so what if you're already dying? You're already dead.
Do you think they did a good enough job of creating a good relationship between Carl and Negan to the fact where Carl is flipped now to where he doesn't want to kill Negan? No, I don't think so either.
Not even close.
When Negan kept him alive and had him up in his room and was like talking shit about his eyeball and stuff like that, what I mean? I was like, he's doing more terrorizing Carl to me than it is making a relationship.
To me, it was showing his lifestyle and bragging about what is the opposite of what everybody wants.
Yeah, and I can imagine Negan liking Carl though.
Yeah,
just like his balls, you know what I mean? Like he came in there ready to kill and stuff like that. But Carl's made too much of a flip all of a sudden now.
Yeah, it didn't add up.
So unfortunately, a character I actually give a shit about, Carl, who they've kind of messed up his story arc.
Yeah,
but
dramatically.
But still give a shit about him. And now that they're taking him out and stuff like that, it's just like, damn guys. I mean, it was ridiculous to bring the Sadiq character in and all these other characters still alive, but now you're taking out one that we give a shit about. You know what I mean? We just talked about this, but it's still hard for me to struggle with this. Anyway, they come in, they spot Carl.
He does a little smoke.
But he does...
Copperfield.
Yeah. David Copperfield.
Yeah.
Assy McGee. And
oh my God, Assy McGee.
Yes.
Guys, if y'all have never watched, it's not Comedy Central. Is it Comedy Central?
What? I don't know if it was, but it was one of those late night.
Yes. I'm talking, you can just Google it. Assy McGee. When you see the image of what Assy McGee is, you're going to think we're pulling your leg. But he had a TV series that was borderline absolutely ridiculous, but it was some of the funniest adult humor.
Oh my God, some of the best one-liners you've ever seen.
I mean, it was ridiculous, but I'm talking about we were rolling.
Along the lines of Squidbillies.
Yes, same concept.
Those things.
But anyway, yeah, I mean, he just does this.
Okay, so he vanishes into the sewer grate.
Correct.
We saw how Carl struggled moving that sewer grate earlier in the episode.
And he did this without making a sound.
Without making a sound, and instantly fast, he was able to pull it off, get down in there, and then cover himself back up. And they didn't see the mysterious sewer grate sitting right there.
I mean,
dude, come on, man.
I know it, man. Total bullshit.
Not to mention, he's obviously a lame horse at this point.
You would hear the metal coming across there, dink, as it falls into place. I mean, come on.
They'd be like, "Hello, where is he, guys? Where is he?" Just, I mean, what in the hell, man? This is silly shit right here.
It really is. Don't do that. You have to make those guys way, way farther away to make it where that's even close to plausible.
This is stupid. What are they? 20 yards away?
Yes.
There's enough to see him in the smoke and be like, freeze!
You would hear the grass rustle as much as you would hear this thing making these sounds, and it's great.
I don't know. Just plain fucking silly.
I mean, it was. It absolutely was. All right, so Carl goes under, and Negan's, I'm going to Rick's house to make some effing spaghetti. You know? So then there's this... how long do you think it was before Rick shows up?
It must not be very long, because where the hell are all of Negan's people? They all vanish.
So let's talk about this. The convoy breaks out the back. They do a heavy slap you on the forehead. Hey, dummy. He only put 2 cars here. And the woman's like, we need trucks here. They'll be able to get out. You know, no, the cars are fine. You know,
it'll hold.
It'll hold. Which given, you know.
Dwight, did that iron to the head burn your brain cells out?
Yeah. And so, of course, the convoy blows through there, no problem, and leaves. And he's like, all right, follow him. You know, I get you on that. And so then they park the trucks, and 4 of them? Is that, I'm right? There was 4 of them. Michonne, Tara, Rosita, and Daryl. That's the 4. Correct?
When they get to the ambush part, it seems like there's more than 4, but...
There's 4. All right, here's my thing. When you do an ambush, okay, first you have the element of surprise.
No, you only go on one side of the road, bro.
Okay? No. You get on both.
Why aren't they on both
Why
sides?
are all of them sitting next to each other? This is the dumbest shit ever. You get them in a crossfire where there is no way to go to cover. So you put 2 on one side, 2 on the other, and you can't hide behind one side of the car. And instead, we all 4 within 10 feet of each other.
I mean, we got they hold hands. They're so close. Some of them are on one knee and shooting.
One bad guy could chunk a grenade, and they're all gone.
There's 4 major characters dead.
Dead in one chunk of a grenade. You know, don't get me wrong. Now Daryl would probably shoot the grenade out of the sky in the dark, you know, before it got there.
He'd shoot it with this crossbow, and it would stab into another human being, and he'd wander around. Oh my god! And blow up. It would look a lot like Rosita rocket launching somebody.
So yes, I really was like, what? Are they really going to do an ambush from one spot, all 4 of them together? So,
not even in good cover.
No, I mean, it's like,
they're standing by some thin trees. I'm like, where's your bushes or something, man? Where's your high ground? Just something.
So not only that, so when they do this and they start hosing these guys get out to start shooting, you don't even see a branch or a tree take a bullet. They're just steadily shooting, like people can't see their muzzle flash or where they're coming from.
Okay, so this ambush is within 30 feet of them.
Give you 60.
These guys are coming out, and they get off a good 60 rounds from the AK-47s they're firing at these 4 dumbasses.
Right next to each other.
Right next to each other, hiding behind twigs.
Yes.
Dude, these guys, it would be like Predator. If it bleeds, we could kill it. You know what I'm talking about? When they all come rushing out there, you know what I mean? and they're just mowing down the forest.
You would see the forest crippling around them, along with them in it.
They'd be chopping these little baby trees down that they're all sitting there. Yeah, they would be cut in half. Yeah. I mean, this is just silly shit, man. Once really again, first off, terrible ambush. Just stupid.
Just absolutely terrible. Of course, the girl's like, don't drive us up there. Don't do it. Da, da, da.
Stop the truck. Stop the car.
I want to check it out.
I want to look a little closer.
A little closer.
This is my bad eye.
Yeah, really.
You know,
yeah, tattoo neck chick. You know, it was just unnecessary. You've already slapped us with the whole this ain't gonna hold. It's gonna hold business. For him to just roll on down there, it's like, do you have to prove it again that Dwight's a good guy? I mean, and then when it's over, he's like, I made the barrier small, and I drove him down here to the ambush. You know,
I knew what it was.
I knew what it was. I mean, like, we saw that earlier, pimp. We got that. So maybe you got to leave one part of that out.
Well, first off, he greases 5 of his own homies.
Yes.
But not the chick.
The chick that gets out of the car closest to the ambush.
And is able to stay on that side of the car where the bullets are firing from.
And able to come back around and grease Dwight one time and then go back to the ambush side of the car.
And escape. Into the blue yonder?
Into the trees that are unaffected by bullets.
What the fuck are we doing right now? Where is this magic chick?
I'm telling
you, man. Is this Ninja Gaiden?
I mean,
is this Metal Gear tattoo
she
chick?
She threw one of those little balls in the ground like Carl
did?
And just poof. It's like watching
Jesus. This is ridiculous.
And not only that, she shot him at point blank range, and he takes a wing on the arm.
It was just a winger, bruh. You grazed me. I shot you.
She could have shot him center mass, and he'd be a cold corpse by the time Daryl and them come down to their perch.
She ain't got time to come over here and talk shit to Dwight. She should be a puddle on the ground.
Yeah, if she
first puddle on the ground.
If she came around there after seeing Dwight grease those guys, why talk to him? Just walk around there and go, a bang!
It was you.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, instead,
there's no sense. I mean, this makes no sense. I mean, the fact that she survived getting out of that door.
She should be the
and then staying on that side.
Her brain should have been on the glass, like the no name behind Maggie later. She should have been the first death. She should step out and go, no. She should take 27 rounds and be the first death right there against the side of the car. And what shields Dwight from getting shot is her corpse against the door.
Yeah, I mean, Dwight is legitimately terrified on his side of the car. He's hiding behind a tire in the motor because he's like, I might die from just the crossfire here. Or no, I'm sorry, the lack of crossfire.
The lack of it, yes.
Yeah, so he's just chilling right there. But that chick...
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Magic, Boris the Bullet Dodger.
Oh, my God. That's what I'm saying. The scene's better, first of all, if the other two are on the other side, so there isn't a place to hide. But then Dwight can't get out of this scenario unless he just crouches down into where the feet are of the car and just suddenly lives through all this. But then if he does that, he can't shoot his own guys to prove his worth. So that screws it. So by putting them all on one side, which is asinine, you basically kill this. If anything, he gets out of the car and runs to the back and then kills him from behind like it's supposed to have happened in the comic. He shoots all his people from behind because they don't see it coming. Instead, in this one, they're all walking towards him and he starts greasing them one by one by one.
Well, they're distracted shooting at our pile of idiots.
So if you fix this, fix the ambush, first of all. Make it where Dwight maybe isn't the first car. So you're not beating over the head that he's leading him into an ambush, and he's telling you.
He needs to be the back car, and he needs to shoot them as they're falling back.
Correct. And so on. The chick that's in the car should be peppered. She should be the first death. As she gets out of the car, you should see her take 27 rounds of just gruesomeness.
Well, no, I mean, just like when she says, why are you going so close? He says, I want a better look or whatever like that. You ought to see her in the passenger side just get...
Just destroyed.
Mangled with bullets.
No, it should be disgusting.
I'm just saying, once again, no excuse. There's no excuse for her to be alive. No excuse for her to survive and run away somehow.
Yeah, no doubt.
Well, this is stupid. This is really stupid.
Oh, I mean, all right, let's go to the kingdom. Okay, so as soon as this happened, King E is he's still in the same area. He's still sitting on the stage. He's still stroking the chain.
Fondling the chain.
Fondling the chain and everything else. So all of a sudden you hear a little bit of gunfire. You hear a commotion outside. He becomes alert. He goes over there.
Runs off stage left.
Yeah, runs off stage left and pulls this thing back. So evidently he can hide behind it, I guess. And so on.
Sure.
Gotcha. Works. So the least threatening of all of the lieutenants, this guy.
The guy who doesn't want to kill at all.
Yeah, who doesn't want to be that guy. Rounds everybody up. Basically old men, women, children. That's all that's left, and explains to them, rules have changed. We own this place now, and there's got to be consequences. Where is King Ezekiel? Of course, everybody's got a quiet tongue. Nobody's really saying anything. And King E is just watching in the background. You see him just by the columns and runs. And then runs over here. Let me tell you something now. For a guy who had to be carried out and was walking with severe limp, homeboy is moving well. He's healed up quickly.
This is ridiculous.
Because
this dude regenerates like Deadpool.
Evidently, all the men are in this central area. There is no one else in the kingdom. There's nobody else at the gates. There's nobody else at any other entrances. They're all right here asking everybody together, Kumbaya, where's King E? And
this is the same ambush technique.
Yes. Which I thought was
witnessed.
very strange. So to me, if you're holding a place, you hold its entrances and exits, and you control it from centrally located. That's how you would control a place like this. And so on, especially if there's somebody missing.
Well, you do that thing where you just squeeze down the circle. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
Where he can't escape the circle. This is kind of silly once again, where he's running free, doing all these things.
Oh yeah, it's like Robin Hood watching his people in peril.
Yeah,
and so the guy's speech up there, we're going to just hang out here, and y'all are going to be the labor that fixes our place up, and da 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 da. And
yeah.
Why you would want to stay at the sanctuary versus the kingdom, I have yet to figure this out. To me, I'm Negan. Alexandria looks a lot nicer. Just like when he blows up the solar panels. Damn, we could have used those, and all that stuff. But anyway, so my guy's up there giving speech. He's doing on his microphone. Da 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 da. I don't want to get it this way. I don't want it to be hard. And blah blah blah. So King Eve's plan.
Blow up some gas tanks.
Blow up basically what looks like to be your fuel reserve.
All your fuel barrels
at once.
Yeah,
I mean.
For a distraction.
One barrel could have done a pretty good little firebomb to do as distraction.
Could have just rolled it down the street on fire.
And instead of blowing up all of your reserves.
Yeah.
So just so in case we know that later, if we see cars running around, call BS because there's no fuel left.
2 years from now when the cars are still running fine, yeah. Call malarkey.
Yeah. So anyway, he does all this, and so homeboy sends all his men. All his men.
What are you looking at? Get over there.
Get over there, right? All right. Let's get to this point first. Last episode, we talked about how many men fighting guys do we think Negan has left? Okay. Last episode, you said generous 50.
Generous.
And I was like 30, 40, maybe. And I mean, that was generous for me. Right now, Negan has how many people on the backside with the white? Let's go 10.
10 and 20 with him.
20 with us. There's 30. Let's talk about...
Simon's got 20.
Simon's got 20. This guy's got 10.
At least.
If not 15. Numbers are looking a little
steep.
The genetics process at the Savior compound is successful.
Yes, they're cloning assholes by the moment.
Here's the other problem. How many people are at the hilltop, already that are captured? You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's just... The numbers are just not adding up. Not even close. They're it's like this freaking gremlins. Guys. They're throwing water down, assholes coming out everywhere. So yeah, no. So these guys all run over there and so on, and all this is just a diversion to get his people gone, and they keep showing a close-up of this one girl who's wearing the head wrap, and of course she has her moment of knocking a guy down, getting the gun, and Ezekiel gets everybody out. He's running them all out, and so on. And guess who shows up just in the nick of time?
Oh, our big famous coincidence. This has happened several times with Carol and Ezekiel.
Again, Carol was in the first coincidence of picking up Rick. And Carol showed up just at the right time to watch Ezekiel close the gates in her face.
Yeah.
Not only that, when she walks away, guess who's lurking at the fence? Morgan. Which we were very curious about.
We were wondering where Morgan went, yeah.
So he made it there, looks to be unscathed.
He's walking around on the foil fence. Did you see this fence?
Yeah, it's shiny.
Yeah. So some of those heat blankets that campers take in emergencies. This astronaut underwear.
Yes.
This is cold rolled foil.
Oh my God. And so Ezekiel's like, you saved him like you saved me. Okay, good line, blah, blah, blah. And so he locks himself in, which, all right.
And then he gets jawed.
And then he gets, takes the butt of the gun to a face. Which is all good, because obviously they want him alive. They want him to be a public death and everything else. I get all that.
Who's they going to publicly show the death to? All your people just left.
Yes, they just threw the deuces, my friend.
Yeah, they just shut the gate on you, and now they're gone. So who are you going to show King E's death to?
Yeah. Well, the whole idea, I think, was what they said was, Simon kind of spells it out when he gets to talk to him. And
yeah.
So let's go ahead and move to Maggie and Jesus. Okay. So Maggie, Jesus, amazing archer chick from the Hunger Games is behind Jesus.
Bow chick.
And then complete no name.
No, he gets his name.
Yeah.
Alvin or something like that. I mean,
who gives a shit? The only reason they named him is just after he took a bullet to the skull.
Yeah, this was going to be nameless death from episode 8.
Nameless forehead shot man.
No, he didn't even get that. We don't even get to see
Dude,
the wound.
I'm telling you, this pissed me off so royally, man. Okay.
They could have shot Bow Chick, and that would have had some impact. She's at least done some stuff, and we've heard her have a conversation.
Yeah.
This guy had 2 lines. Hell yeah, or something like that.
Exactly. Never surrender.
Never get her done.
It's like, the only thing missing was the Miller Lite in his hand, man.
At this point, I wanted to shoot him.
Yeah.
I'm just like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah.
Who is this?
Who invited this clown in the car?
How obvious do they make the people that are going to die?
Yes. I mean,
once again,
hey, Larry, you want a job where you die on this episode? Hell yeah! Exactly what we need. Make sure that's your line.
This is Chekhov's future dead person.
Yes, I mean...
Chekhov's no name. Chekhov's everything.
Oh, my God.
Chekhov's guy in overalls that we've never seen before. What the fuck is this?
Where did this guy come from? Never seen him before at the Hilltop or anybody. This is somebody who was a carpenter on set who said, it's my dream to be on the show.
Yeah,
this give you one line, and then you're going to die off screen.
This is Make-A-Wish for some country pedophile. This is fucking ridiculous.
Georgia backstage character.
Yeah. This is awful. Is this Roy Moore?
Make-A-Wish.
This is Roy Moore's wish right here.
This is so wrong, man. Make-A-Wish.
This is ridiculous.
You're going to die in The Walking Dead. My dream. My dream.
You won this in a cereal box contest.
You're going to pull your head off.
You're allowed to get 3 words.
And die.
And die horribly. Basically off screen, too. We're going to see... You're not going to see your face die. We're going to see Maggie's reaction to your death.
All we see is your hair, which is disgusting, and your fake blood everywhere.
And then Bo Chick's going to be picking your gray matter off of her shoulder. Like, ew. Ew, gross. I'm pretty sure he had country AIDS. Is sheep AIDS contagious?
Oh, all right. So, all right. Here's
so sheep AIDS is dead.
All right, we got to start at the beginning. A tree's down, and we're creeping up to look at it. It's like Dwight 2.0. That tree wasn't there.
I want a closer look at this oak.
Look at it. So they do this. Okay, so that tree wasn't down. Well, trees fall. It happens. It's them. Dun, dun, dun.
Could it have fallen on its own?
Yeah. Did a tree fall in the woods when nobody hears it doesn't make a sound? That's the only thing I was expecting to hear.
If there's a roadblock and we've already seen this before, is it possible it's the same people? Yes, you stupid bastard.
Yeah, really.
I'd have taken my chances with a tree. I'd have drove straight into that motherfucker. Just see what happens.
There's a branch somewhere they're making a ramp.
Yeah. I'll take my chances with the stump side or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, oh, God.
Put your car up against this thing and just and push the stupid bastard out of the road.
Put that Toyota Celica in high gear and get
I mean, something. Just something.
So they do this and all this. So again, it's just like Rick and his radio. She radios whoever's in the back of the car, turn around, no response. And then all these cars with lights show up. Now, how many cars do you think are in Maggie's posse here?
I mean, it looks like 10 at least.
Yeah, I'm going to say at least 7 or 8.
Yeah.
And so on. And so we're going to guess we're at least 2, maybe 3 people in each. All of them got M16s.
Well, this is the party that's going to end the Saviors.
Right. So this is a good group.
Yeah.
So they just get drove up on, and guys just hop out like the drive-thru at Sonic. Hello, we'd like your guns out of your car, please. Thank you. Hand it over. Not a single guy wants to get out and fight. Not a battle. Not nothing. And they all come from the rear.
Yeah, the thing is once you see those headlights pulling up on your back,
you know
get
they're not friendly.
out of the car and just start lighting those things up that are coming your way.
Yeah, hit the radio. Get out. Get to the tree line. Defend yourselves. Something.
Yeah.
Instead of standing there and asking for popcorn to watch the show, I'm sorry, when this truck just pulls up beside them, yeah, all right, here, all of you, aim at the driver.
Sorry, Jerry.
Guess who was in the passenger seat? Simon.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Simon. It's 27 bullets to the face, or whatever it is. I mean, like, there's a battle there. Not, let's watch the show. Oh, let's open the door. Let's put a box in the car. Let's roll Jerry's big ass down this. Da 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 da.
About to walk Jerry down the ramp. He just rolls out like a slab of meat. This is a poached cow that just it flops
you
down.
took his knee out. What are you doing? Yeah. This whole setup to this, I just so far fetched, man. To me,
the thing is too is, I feel like they may have actually come at these guys with empty guns. Negan already said that's going to take up most of my ammo.
Yeah.
To escape the Savior compound.
You're right. To
escape Sanctuary, they had to use a shitload of ammo. Obviously, our people don't know that. But my thing is, just defend yourselves. And they have no ammo. You are fully loaded.
Think about this. If you were headed to the Savior compound, okay, to finish the war, okay,
you're ready to go.
From where you're coming from, do you ever expect other vehicles with headlights to ever come up on you?
Not without a radio to tell you who they are.
Absolutely not. So, to me, it is completely asinine that people were not getting out there and shooting the hell out of these first sets of vehicles that are coming at them.
Shoot the tires out of the first truck, and you're stopping every vehicle behind it.
Not only that, if the guy in the very back with the radio is gone and you're not answering, that's your cue to get out and do something.
You remember if you look at this is in Forrest Gump. Remember Lieutenant Dan walk up on something, he would always be like, "Get out! Shut up!" But you see what they do? Like whenever he does that, they part the road, and create an ambush space on each side of the road.
No clear, easy targets.
Right. So when they get to the tree, Maggie ought to be like, Scatter to the edges of the road and the tree line.
Well, as soon as the radio doesn't answer for the back car and you see a single set of headlights, get out. Get to the trees. Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Ready to prepare yourself.
Exactly.
And this would have been easy work.
Right. And it would have been a really cool scene.
We just saw a 4-man ambush that basically said,
you want to call it that.
Here, shoot me. It was tattooed on their foreheads. Take out 15 dudes, miss a tattooed girl from 3 feet away. But, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, I know it.
You cannot show me this first thing you showed us and then allow Maggie just to be dumbfounded on what to do.
This works. If everybody gets out of their car and they scatter, and you see Simon hop out and say, "You shoot, and your person dies." So then they open it up and you see it's Jerry, and then Maggie's like, "Don't fire, don't fire." So then, but at least it looks like it makes sense. You know what I mean?
A lot of the saviors, they keep pulling up with these huge balls.
Yeah.
Negan walking down the street just with a bat, no gun on him. Well, I mean, he has one on him, but
No, never brandishes it.
no. Simon just rolling up in the truck and getting out of the truck like, who cares? And we'll just open up this door. We're under a headlight fire right here. You know what I mean? Just like all these people. Now that's before he decides to unarm everybody.
Correct.
You know what I mean? There are people standing there with guns. Shit. Waiting to, basically shoot into the car if there's a problem. But it looks like he has like one person for each car. You know what I'm saying? Like our lead car has 4 people in it.
Correct.
But he's got one person aiming into the car for each car on the way down. I'm just like, do something, man.
Yeah, don't make it so damn easy.
I just feel like, they made this so easy on them. I like that Jerry's not dead. This is not how I wanted Jerry to go out. You know what I mean?
But you know as well as I do, to me, he should have died in that scene.
I still feel like he's cannon fodder. He's a character we all know, we all like. That
he's earned enough to be well liked that his death would have been monumental.
Yeah,
in this part,
he's the Axel at this point.
Is. I mean, so realistically, I was dreading his death, but I was fully expecting it. I really, really was.
Oh, when Simon says, "Don't worry about it, Greg, I got it," or whatever like that, and pulls his gun, I thought he was going to shoot Jerry. And then instead, he greases shrimp aids.
Yeah,
sheep aids, whatever.
Again, that right there makes this it's even more asinine. I mean, like. You don't just kill a fluff if you're making a point to everybody. You kill somebody in leadership.
Yeah, well, I think that's what they were trying to prove by saying, let's kill somebody literally in the car with Maggie. Then it's like, now don't make me shoot beautiful long locks over there, that mane of hair and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, whatever, sure. Jesus is not in danger right now.
Yeah, no.
But really, I mean, Bo-Chick could have just jumped out with 3 arrows locked on. And greased the first 3.
One pull, Robin Hood, all 3 of them.
They could have had chain link fences in front of them. They were toast, son. They were toast.
Yeah, no.
Anyway, I want to get away from this because it's boring me.
Yeah, it was just rough.
Simon basically says the Hilltop's the lucky ones. They're not going to die. They're going to get to be producers.
Well, he says you got 2 choices. One person dies, and let y'all go back.
Or this entire rigmarole of...
Right, we're going to do exactly what you did to us.
We got to kill Jerry, we got to put you into the casket, and blah, 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 and all this other crap.
Yeah, hang you from the, blah, blah, blah.
Put you on a spike out front.
Right, exactly. Does it bother you that Maggie is still not showing?
Well, yeah. I mean, the way they pretend time is passing in some areas, but not in others.
Do you remember the episode where... Glenn dies, and the episode before that where they're running for their lives because she's so bad shape.
Like she's about to have a miscarriage, yeah.
Right. She is wearing tight clothes.
She's fine.
She's just good looking.
And they're making it a huge deal that Eugene's got to get this doctor
to
Maggie because she's in terrible shape.
Right now, I mean, she looks like she's too much pregnant.
G.I. Jane.
Maybe.
No, she's not pregnant at all.
So they leave. Maggie comes back to the hilltop. Hey, guy, we barely know your name. I'll say it just so I can say your name. I need your gun.
Well, this is the guy that should have died in the building when they tried to kill Dwight. Tried to kill Daryl. Tara or Daryl should have greased this person.
Correct. So she randomly picks this fella instead of long hair asshole that needs a bullet.
No, they're leaving him alive just for the sabotage at some point.
It's Morgan's going to kill him before he leaves. Something of that nature.
Yeah,
got to.
Something.
So we pull out Dean. Okay. He comes out here and goes, "Oh, let Buttercup do her little, show or whatever he says like that." And she shoots him in the neck. Did you notice where she shot?
I thought she shot him in the chest.
It was no. I rewound it. I was just like, I want to see this right in the Adam's apple, maybe a hair lower. Okay.
Haven't we learned you how to shoot him in the head?
So you drop this fool. Okay. Where she shoots him is not an immediate death. Maybe it might be paralyzing if she took a spine out instead of so on. But again, he's a dead fish on the ground before he hits the ground. Didn't see anybody go over there and put a spike in his head. Didn't see him finish that. Not necessarily necessary, but she proves her point. Did you get the long Western eye gaze between her and Jesus over this situation?
Yeah, 1,000-yard stare about this.
Yeah, when they're 3 feet from each other.
Yeah.
And again, no, she proves her point. They kill one of ours, we kill one of theirs. But then as she walks away, she's breaking down, because that's just not who she is, but she's trying to be strong to set the example. Fortify the gate, get your people ready, arm this.
Bury so-and-so.
Bury so-and-so.
Or box so-and-so.
Correct.
Okay. The box.
Yes. Put it where they will find it.
Was this sheep aids inside this thing?
Yes, it was.
Okay, because it says we have 38 more. I think it's the guy she just shot.
I think it's the guy she shot.
And saying we have 38 more of your people.
I think so.
Okay. Because it makes sense the other way, too.
To me, I think it's the guy. It's the box that was used for sheep aid. I cannot believe we're calling a character sheep aids. But anyway. All right. It's the box for him. But yes, this is Dean. Okay. In the box. And they're going to put it where they know they'll find it. And to say, we have 38 more like this. Basically saying, you come in here, we kill your people.
Yeah.
So, so Jesus' idea of keeping these people might end up being a real positive.
Could lead that way, I guess.
To me, I don't think Negan and the group gives a rat's ass about the group of people that are in there, which goes twofold. If they're willing to kill the guys in there, then they could possibly turn around and be like, right. Okay,
then we don't support Negan, yeah.
And which means, are we to say long hair fella might become a good guy?
No.
God, I hope not.
No.
I will first start flinging dung at a picture of Gimple on a dartboard instead of doing this. That's what I'll feel like. If that's what we're going to go to. So that's what happens with this. So the reality of it is that's kind of the breakdown of all your groups. Garbage Pail people are no longer in the picture, so we wasted 2 or 3 episodes on the spiked head guy, no fear of Rick's death, and the most worst negotiating skills ever to watch them run away for for less than 30 seconds on screen.
As far as this season's concerned, yes. But they'll be back.
They'll be back. Rick is back. Again, like you said, everybody poof, they disappear. He's able to get to the house. Negan's waiting for him. Knocks his gun away. Coral! That's, that would be one of the biggest things I miss. It was Coral!
Coral! I'd never heard him go, Michonne! Rick is ready. So Bonesaw comes right on into the house.
Yeah. He knocks the gun away, and I'm sorry. Why do I always feel like Rick is always superior fighter to everyone but Negan?
Sometimes. I mean, you remember when he kills the guys upstairs before he finds the baby and stuff like that? That was a pretty good fight.
It was.
Before it got to the point, it did.
So, I did like this fight. I thought this was great. I thought the choreographer was good. I thought him being on the ground and really suffering from hits and wounds was the most realistic. I mean, I can't stand it when somebody takes a punch and just acts like it never even hit him or phased him.
Oh, the thing is, too, is he's hitting him with a bat wrapped in barbed wire.
His shirt should look like...
Well, my thing is like, I just don't want to hear the thump of a bat, you know what I'm saying? Because it's going to be different sound.
He should have little pinholes in him.
Yeah, he should be kind of ravaged wherever it hits.
Right, and he should be bleeding. Because not only did he get hit with a bat with barbed wire in the back, inside, he also went out a window. Yeah. So he should be bleeding pretty heavily, actually.
Yeah, but forgetting all that, I liked him at do you ever shut up,
dude? When he hit him with that base of an urn, and Negan went flat You know,
Yeah, and they hit him a few more times.
I was impressed, man, because like if you got hit with that in the face, your ass is out.
Then he got mad when he got hit.
Yes.
He like laughed a little bit and got kind of angry.
Yeah, kicks him in the knee right before Rick has a chance to do the coup de grace to him.
Drop kicks him out a window.
Yeah, I mean, nasty. Good job, stuntman. The way he lands on the back of his neck and rolls, keeps gun in hand and everything, which was like, what?
And then immediately runs.
You have the gun.
Just turn and shoot him.
If you can stand up to jog away, you can stand up to put that gun in the window and grease this mother.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
You know, instead he picks it back up and looks out the window and goes, shit. You know, I mean, like he dropped his cornbread shit, you know, not, I just rocked Rick out, and oh, by the way, he's got a pistol.
But you'll tell you what, though, I'm not going to nitpick the scene because this is a teeny little part of something that I liked.
Yes, the fight was great.
The fight was excellent. It was fun.
The fight was great. Remind me, how did Rick figure out they were in the sewer? Michonne, because Michonne decided not to go.
Everybody else goes into the sewer. Rosita's trying to get her to come down. She covers up the lid.
Loses her shit. Puts the grate down.
Super badass Walker kill.
Oh, just slicing the head clean.
Just slicing the head in
from
half.
behind.
Yeah, that was nasty.
It was impressive.
Michonne finds the one roaming bad guy still left and hacks him.
Oh, one through the eye.
To pieces.
Oh, it went on the ground. I mean, she's chopping him like firewood.
Yeah,
you know,
which is pretty just ruthless. She ought to be covered in gore.
Oh, I know. That sword, you just have bits and pieces hanging all over
could you stop letting it hit the dirt like that? You're dulling it.
Okay, you've cut his face in half 17 times. Please stop.
Yeah.
You know, now Rick walks up to her, and he looks like he's ran a 4-mile, 5-mile marathon with the amount of sweat and, you know, wet curlies he's got. And so we had that magic moment, you know, the hug and the whole 9 yards. And so she leads him to the sewer.
Right.
And everybody's quiet and everybody's somber. The really cool shot of seeing Judith down there in the distance with Daryl.
Yeah.
I do like that they did the long shots down there and you saw different things.
Not Daryl.
Yeah, little baby Judith was with Daryl.
Was that Daryl? I thought they showed Daryl later on that him walking past
they were
him.
right there playing with each other.
Okay. I thought it was Daryl too. But I thought he showed him walk past, but that was actually Dwight.
See, I saw pretty little curl hair that looked clean.
Yeah. No.
And then I saw hair that was disgusting. Immediate Daryl. You know, so that's what.
Oh, yeah, no. I'm aware. It was like yin and yang down there.
Yeah. So he goes down there, and, you know, this is when you know it's happening because, there's 30 seconds left in the episode, as well as Tara and Rosita won't make eye contact with you. And you walk down, and Daryl barely makes eye contact with you. And then you meet Sadiq, who's just looking at you funny on his homemade cot. You know, and then, of course, you turn around, and there's Carl, and he's 80 shades of white, he's pale ghost.
Greenish purple.
He's got a big old hole in his jeans that's bleeding. He's in rough shape, and he pulls his shirt up, and he's got a bandage over what looks to be a pretty fresh bite wound. And basically
a nasty bite to have not bitten through.
Yeah, it's just top epidermis there.
Oh, but the thing is it's top teeth, bottom teeth.
Correct.
It's like when your little kid bites you. You know, they don't really break the skin, but this is like
nice set of choppers.
Horrific chopper bite onto a flat surface.
Correct. And you realize the letter in the book, and you realize his comments, and you are in shock and awe, you know, that, wow, they have decided to kill off
a good character.
A good primary character that has a epic future, if you're a comic book writer, a reader, and is integral to the next set of problem issues of the comic. Farther down the line, you're going to meet a group of people called Whisperers. And the Whisperers have a character upon them, and Carl and those two are the reason that the Whisperers are a part of the comic. And so Carl not being in the mix severs the connection. Now, I'll speculate after we talk about the episode of how we could fix this, but this really, you know, like when Andrea died, in season 3, I think, and so on.
She had run her course, but there was
on the show she ran her course
a lot more in the comic. I agree. I know what you're talking about.
She was a very huge character, and is supposed to be the love interest of Rick, and is supposed to be Carl's new mom, and all this and everything else. But they were able to warp it into where Michonne takes that role.
No big deal. I'm fine with that.
You know what? At the time, I was mad, but they've been able to recover from that, and so on. Good, all good. Okay. The problem here is that the show has now taken Carl away, and I'm grasping at how they can make this connection, and the only way I can see this is that in a future possible time jump, Judith, since she grows at an amazing rate, becomes the next young person to kind of go into that role.
They took the only teenager away.
Besides Enid.
Yeah, I know, but
right.
Enid is drastically hurt character-wise with Carl not around.
Correct.
So it's like, ugh. We have no teenage characters, really, to speak of, other than Enid. I understand that, but it's like Enid's in a precarious situation where her character is largely based on Carl.
Exactly. And the other part here is Enid replaces Carol's daughter, which is a big part of the comic book as well. And so all the pieces were there of the puzzle, but now that you've taken Carl away, the puzzle falls apart.
Yeah.
And so
I'll be curious what they're going to do with this now. Actually, I'm very little curious because I'm pretty pissed.
Yes.
He walked past 3-4 characters in the sewer that I was like, wish you were Dawn, wish you were gone, wish you were gone, instead of Carl.
Correct. Like we said last week when we podcasted, I was hoping and fully expected multiple large character deaths. We needed it, as well as it would have been hugely memorable. I mean, it really would have. I mean, think about the last time we had multiple main character deaths.
Yeah,
that was at the prison. And that was Lori and T-Dog.
Yeah. I feel like Gabriel is now going to die. He'll probably die on the way back to the hilltop. Or whatever, you know what I mean, to come to get Maggie. And now Sadiq, who is obviously kind of a spiritual character, and the church is blown up, by the way.
Yeah.
Like they're already kind of replacing Gabriel in a way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So It's like, I feel like that's kind of ham-fisted a little bit. I don't know, man.
I know it.
I feel like
we leave with a bad taste in your mouth with nothing to drink.
The more things change, the more they stay the same.
Correct.
They just took away a character that we actually give a shit about that should have a massive future. The only thing I can think of is like Chandler Riggs had new opportunities to go do.
All right, so I read the article. He did an interview with the Hollywood Reporter and a few other things like that, and so on. So get this. Chandler Riggs, there was a lot of suspicion. He was accepted to be a Georgia Bulldog, but he took what's called I forget what it's called. It's basically where you get accepted, but you can hold off on coming in your first year, jump year or something like that. I forget what it's called, because he wanted to continue the acting and was even going to possibly move to Hollywood to get into more projects before he actually started officially attending Georgia. Okay? He buys a house in Sonora, Georgia, or Sonora, whatever it is, where they film Walking Dead. And for some reason, they decide to just grease him. So what he says is that he was fully committed to the show. On episode 6, while rehearsing lines, Gimple was there in person and said, "Hey, come talk to me." Brought his mom and dad in and said, "By the way, season 8, you die." And they were devastated. According to those interviews, he was let go because of how they wanted to move the story. Not because of poor performance or this, that, or so on. It was purely a story decision. Okay?
Well, no, I mean, what I've seen from Gimple is that Carl's death and everything Carl has said to Rick leading up to his death this episode is the direction they want to go with the story.
Right. Well, the direction they want to go is also the direction very similar to where the comic is and where Carl is very important. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I didn't feel like this was necessary. I feel like they're getting rid of a character we give a shit about in order to move their story forward, but unnecessarily.
Correct.
You could have killed any of these cheese balls, and we would have been just fine.
We would have lived.
We would have been just fine. Or killed nobody. It would have been disappointing to not lose any characters, but this was just a chess piece moving episode. It wasn't what you think of as a mid-season finale or a season finale in the fact that something just huge happens, which something did with Carl, but I thought it was negative and unnecessary. Normally, we're always like, yeah, kill somebody big. Make it big. But this one was unnecessary to me.
Yeah.
And actually made it worse.
It did. It really did. I mean, I put some of that stuff on social media, and I had some people give me some blowback of the show is different than the comic. Okay, I got you. You're absolutely right. The show can go in its own direction and so on. But the show has followed the source material 85% of the time. So, you can pick and choose how you're going to remix it. I get it. But if you're following source material, this one right here really, really flips the script about how you're following it. It really does. Because Carl has such a huge part. Because in the comic book, he's gotten so much older and is a young man and, has several things going on I won't spoil for you that are so good. I mean, he's such an amazing character in writing and how things go in the comic book in the future about, he becomes comfortable in himself and he doesn't wear things to cover his eye anymore. And he cuts his hair. And I mean, everything is so different. He's a man and it's just, this is catastrophic. If you've never read the comic book, this is catastrophic to what the potential of his story arc was going in the future. And so I guess it was more of I was angry because I'm losing that and that it was an unnecessary death and what I basically call a ratings grab because just like they said, the episode they'll be talking about forever, basically the largest death in Walking Dead history, basically. Because, of the Carl and Rick are the only two considered regulars on The Walking Dead from season 1. And you just killed one.
Yeah.
Daryl, Carol, Andrew, all that stuff, they were not considered regulars.
No, there was 4 main characters.
Right.
That was Rick, Carl, Shane, and Lori.
Right. And
Shane, Lori gone. There's only 2 main characters left.
Correct.
The rest of the people, no matter how much you care about them, are secondary characters.
Yes. Now, they've worked themselves into regulars now, but
even though they're regulars, main characters of the story.
So,
and Shane wasn't even supposed to last as long as he did.
Yeah, Shane wasn't supposed to make it past the camper.
Right. So it's like he was a main character that we didn't even realize was a main character.
Right.
But he had long-lasting effects on the show and stuff like that.
There is no doubt.
And so did Lori. You know what I mean? So it's like those were our 4 base characters. Now 2 of them are gone. It's like, now we're to this point where the third one is gone unnecessarily to me. And the whole show rests on Rick.
Correct. And if you never were concerned about Rick's well-being now, you never have to be worried now.
No, he's invincible now.
Yeah, he's basically untouchable. Which, if you listen to our preview cast about what happens in All Out War, when it comes to this whole deal from the comic books, a big deal in the comic books with Rick and Negan happens. And if they do this on the show, you're definitely not concerned.
No, as a matter of fact, even when we talked about possible deaths, we've always said more chance that Rick would die than Carl would die.
Yes. And they shot that to hell.
Shot it right to hell.
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
Anyway.
So frustrating. It's so frustrating. But anyway, guys, it's a mid-season finale. Sadly, there were a lot of good parts about the episode, but it was just so overshadowed by the catastrophic death at the end. I hate it for Chandler Riggs. The guy just put out some music. He just bought a house in Sonora, which I guess he doesn't need anymore. And, I guess he's going to Hollywood. I think he's doing a movie, Inherit something. I can't remember the name of it. But, I wish him well. I think he did a great job as Carl. And we're going to definitely miss him on the show. It's going to be very interesting to see how things move forward when it comes to the show and these things going on. But other than that, guys, I think we're just going to call it a night. And I guess we'll be back in February. I think it's like February 25th, 28th or something like that for the next part. And I believe that's the last episode for Chandler Riggs, which probably end up being just a very large memorial, a lot of flashbacks, and a say goodbye kind of situation. So we'll see. But other than that, guys, it's been fun. We'll see y'all then. This is Bleed TV, and I'm Zach.
And I'm Jake.
We'll see y'all then.